So what advice would you have, Uncle Corey, for Maddox and McKenna? And if you could use both their names, it would be awesome.
So Maddox and McKenna, right? I got it right.
Yep.
Okay, I thought I had it right, and then I second guessed myself when you're in the moment. So Maddox and McKenna, here's what I would say that I'll say it this way: I wish I knew it sooner, but I also did a talk on what I would tell my younger self, and what I've learned in asking that question to some of the world's top leaders. What they would tell their younger self is don't change a thing. So I've learned most of them wouldn't jump in the time machine to go back even to talk to the younger self because it might mess something up. So I say this as a preface to say I learned it when I needed to, but it doesn't mean I don't wish I wouldn't have known it sooner. So this is what I wish I would have known sooner, and I've learned it from all these interviews with these people that really seem to have a joyous life. They're happy, they're excited, they seem to have time to still do more stuff, and people like them, and on and on and on. They're sick less often, and so here's what it comes down to, Kelly. And it's the number one thing I've discovered in interviews with, again, thousands of the world's top leaders. Number one thing they share and have in common is that they live every day on purpose. So what I call it is vitamin P. So I say that vitamin P is the vitamin, meaning for purpose, the vitamin that you can't buy in any store, and yet it's the most important vitamin you'll ever discover and start taking every day. So I take vitamin P every day, which means I wake up every day like this. I don't even drink coffee. I wake up super stoked as Corey every day. Having said that, what I would tell people is I believe it's not even finding your purpose or passion. I think it's uncovering it because it's there already. It's just you need to discover what it is. And so basically I would say if you haven't yet, it's worth what would you call it? The journey. It's worth the reward is there. And enjoy the journey as well of trying to find it. So if I could give something in a couple of like a minute, let's say, of a strategy, but that's so first of all, what I would say is Madison and McKenna, you need to find your purpose in life at some point. You don't have to rush it. Be a kid as long as you need to be a kid, but it'll change everything. People ask me what it feels like, and I always say, well, do you know somebody who likes Christmas? Because not everybody does. But if you know somebody or a kid that likes Christmas, and you know what it's like when they're tumbling down the stairs, running as fast as they can, that's how Corey feels every day when he wakes up. I feel like that automatically every day without any artificial stimulant. So that's the power of it. But if you've never discovered it, it sounds great in theory, and you really don't know what it means. So going back to the point, here's what I would say to people to help find their purpose. I think passion is the gateway. So I think they're different. I think passion is what you do, doing a podcast, speaking, whatever. Passion is the what, purpose is the why you're doing it. And so I found that passion is sort of the gateway to find your purpose. So finding a passion, after you start doing it for a while, you'll realize why you're doing it. So what I tell people as a strategy, and I'm going to do this in 1 minute, Kelly, that normally I spend a lot more time on it, but the gist is I would say make a list of all the things that you would do if money wasn't an issue, if you won the lottery. What are the things that you did when you were a kid that you loved? What's the thing you do now that you don't watch the clock? Whenever somebody told you in life, stop doing that, stop being a clown, and you started doing something different, what was it you liked about being a clown? Go back to that point where they pushed you off your trail and find that spot. And what I want you to do is write down the list of those things. So it could be playing guitar, it could be entertaining people, it could be whatever, it could be knitting, doesn't matter. Make your list of, say, 10. Then what I want you to do is reverse the list or order them in priority. What's the thing that you wish you could do forever, always? What's the thing if it stopped happening, you'd be okay with it? Obviously, the thing that you'd want to do always, you put on the top of the list. And then what I want you to do is list out 4 or 5 steps of what would you have to do for baby steps to actually achieve that. So if it's stand-up comedy, maybe your baby steps are, I would take a comic out for lunch. I go to a comedy club and watch a comic. I'll watch HBO special and take notes. I'll buy the Comedy Bible by Judy Carter, and I'll go to I'll ask comics what I should be doing differently, and basically make that list. And those are your baby steps. At each baby step, you should have a predetermined reward. So that way you'll want to keep going to the next one. And then by the time you've done the 5 of those, then if it's stand-up comedy, you're going to be willing to jump on a stand-up stage because you've done all the lifting already. It's going to be easier to take that last step. And here's what happens is you'll know probably even before you get on the comedy stage if stand-up is your passion. You'll know. So what happens is you go through this list. Hopefully it's only the first one. You never have to go through anything again. It takes you 3 months. You find your passion. It helps you find your purpose. And yet you found yours in your life, whereas 95% of people, they say, go into their graves never finding it. So is it worth 3 months? But here's what I would add. Those things on the list, even if you go through 6 of them to find it on the 6th one and it takes you a year, who cares? That's a list of things you just said you loved. What's wrong with doing a list of things you said you loved to find a thing you really love? But that's, I guess, in 2 minutes, That's the strategy I would give Madison, McKenna, and anybody else. Write down that list, figure out what could be your passion, and start doing that every day anyway because you want to do it. And eventually, you'll discover it if it is your passion. This is I've seen so many people that they discovered their purpose within 3 or 4 months of doing that and never looked back. So that was longer than what I would tell them. That's the what I would tell them and how to do it.